Hello everybody, it's me. How's it going? Today I figured I'd put my own 2 cents on a relatively controversial movie known as Serbian film, or whatever the alternate title is in Serbia. I don't remember. I didn't learn it because I didn't care enough. This movie has gained a lot of controversy for many good reasons. For its use of graphic violence, graphic sexual acts, and all that stuff. And I didn't like the movie, but not for that reason. The reason why I didn't like it is I thought it was boring. That's just me though. Like, my friends and I, like, we were looking it up and all that stuff. Like, I knew about it, and so did my other friend who said, yo, there's this one movie called Serbian film. I was like, yo, dude, I know, I've heard of it. Heard it was, like, absolutely sick. And then it's like, yeah, I'd, like, heard, like, a bunch of crazy stuff happens in it. And so we're getting all hyped, and then we watched it. And we're watching the uncut version, mind you. And then out of nowhere, like, it starts out with the one kid. The movie's about a porn star, right? A Serbian porn star who's down on his luck or whatever, and his kid is watching his pornographic videos. And so I was like, alright, this may be good. And then it's just like, it just takes its sweet time to go anywhere. And then at the end, it's just like, okay, well, that was just, an hour and a half of my life wasted. I was like, and then we're just like, oh, there's this one, like, there's a scene where a baby gets raped. I'm not supporting that scene at all, but we're just like, that's it from that scene. We're just kind of like, that was it? Really? This is what all the hype's been out? And I know, like, it's never a good thing to harm children. Like, that scene did disgust me, but it didn't disgust me as much as I thought it would. Like, I have like, my boss, he has a young child, and he would definitely hate this movie. And it kind of makes you wonder what some filmmakers would do nowadays. Like, how far are they willing to go? And that's one of these things I have to at least respect about this movie is the director. He just went, he didn't care. He just did whatever he wanted, pretty much. But my problem with this movie is it's supposedly like a commentary about the Serbian government, about how everyone in this society gets raped or whatever. But you can say that as much as you want, but I won't believe it. All I just saw was just a film that was about a crazy ex-porn star who wanted to get money, and he got involved in a snuff film. Now, there are people who said that it's the most disturbing movie they've ever seen. It's not the most disturbing. I found Cannibal Holocaust to be more disturbing because it's just purely raw grittiness throughout. And at least Cannibal Holocaust kept it going through. This movie had way too many moments of where it's just like, you're just kind of sitting there, just like, well, for me anyway, and my friends, we all agreed. We're just like, is something going to happen? And, like, at the end, he was just like, my friend's like, okay, by the end, I'm pretty sure it's just going to get, like, really insane, which it does, but it's still, it's just like, you waited that long, so many dialogue scenes, that it's just not worth it. You're just like, well, I just wasted that much time in my life. Thank you so much, Serbian film. What else was there? Oh, a lot of people are describing this as a horror film. And when my friends and I watched it, we didn't see a horror movie. We saw death and, like, a lot of disturbing images, but what we didn't see was a horror movie. What we saw was a crime drama thriller with some blood in it and a lot of crude sexual scenes. We didn't necessarily see horror, which it can be described as like one of the torture porn movies, but really, when I think of torture porn, I think of stuff like The Incredible Torture Show or Blood-Sucking Freaks, which is most commonly known as, The Wizard of Gore, Hostel Parts 1 and 2, stuff like that. Or even I Spit on Your Grave, maybe. Which, even I Spit on Your Grave is just borderline horror. That's more of a crime film. Same with, like, Last House on the Left. I've talked about that before, where it's more or less like crime film, a gangster film, as opposed to an actual, like, straightforward horror film until, like, it reaches a certain point. But if I did buy it, which I'm not going to because I don't like it at all, I definitely put it in the horror section. But what should I say about this film? I'm going to talk about the censorship about this film. This movie was made in Serbia. I don't know their laws in Serbia, so I'm not going to act like I know anything. But we don't have to release this movie in the U.S. because it wasn't made here. But if it was and it got banned in the U.S., then that would be wrong because we have the right to freedom of speech here. We're allowed to say whatever we want. Well, we do have limits. Like, you can't just walk up to some black person and call them I mean, you can, but it won't turn out well. I mean, you won't get arrested for it, but I'm pretty sure, depending on the person you're talking to, they'd probably shoot you or stab you. But I do think that the movie, it was originally released in the U.S., but it's the cut version, and you see, that's the problem. When I think of, I really wish that in America they wouldn't, like, censor foreign movies. Like, we didn't get Battle Royale. Like, I have Battle Royale, but it's the Region Zero version of it, so sorry, I got a lot of indigestion. Like, that kind of bothers me. Like, Battle Royale, I'm not comparing this to Battle Royale at all. Like, if you're gonna release it, release it in its full glory. Don't edit it down. Don't try and cut some stuff out because you might think it might offend somebody, because that's the point of this movie. They wanted it to be controversial. They wanted it to be extreme. The fact that it's getting edited to the state that's in is just wrong. You're destroying the whole purpose of why they made this movie, and that's wrong. Even though we may not agree with what they did with the movie, it shouldn't get cut out, and that's what bothers me. Like, when I heard about this movie, I had a feeling, like, I guess we're lucky to get it in America, because I didn't think it was going to be released here at all. But it did, and it's the cut version, and I was like, oh, joy. Like, I mean, I hadn't seen it, I didn't buy it, like I said, but I've read reviews on Amazon, and people are just like, it's the cut version, don't buy it, so I won't buy it. The movie's effects were actually really good. The directing, like, it is a really well-made film, perfectly crafted. But the fact is, it's boring, and it has a lot of scenes that are just not needed, like the child rape scenes. There's 2 cases of child rape in this movie, which is just, no. Like, I didn't, like, well, technically 3, but that's at the very end of the movie. And they don't even, like, you'd have to watch it. I'm not saying watch it, but you have to really, for me to explain it to you. So the only way I'm defending this movie is, movies should never have to be cut for it to be seen. I mean, yeah, there are the restrictions with ratings and all that, and let it be up to the director or someone who's involved in the movie to cut it down so that they can get it actually released. And then when, the DVD comes out, the unrated version will come out, and there's only like an additional 2 minutes on it. But I don't think they should ever force a director to cut down their movie, or when they're releasing it, to have it be forcibly cut down for political correct standards. Because that's just not right. It really isn't. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with what this director did at all. But what he did was extreme, and I gotta give him props. I didn't like the movie. I hated this movie. I thought it was boring. I didn't like the fact there was child rape in it. But like I said, we can't just censor out people's, like, films. Like, if I made a movie, like, here's one movie I came up with. It's about this one kid who's friends with, like, people who, are into drugs and all that shit. But the dealers find him at his house because someone wanted to start selling, and, like, this kid's house is like the center of where everyone lives, and the dealers kind of, like, attack the family and all that, and then the kid just snaps, and it's kind of like Hostel, done in the Blair Witch style. Like, if that was released and someone said, no, you can't show this and this and this, I'd be offended. I'd be like, so you want to cut down something that I put a lot of my heart into? No, it's bullcrap. You shouldn't edit stuff like that down. We might not want to see it, but we shouldn't edit it. And if we don't like it, we don't watch it. That's the way it works. And I completely agree with Michael King, I believe your name is. Mikkel Productions, like, I can't say your name, sorry, I don't have it very well, or Rambo Raff. Check out those reviews, or the Cinema Snobs review, for that matter. Check out all those reviews, and they'll explain to you why this movie is no good. Don't watch it. I know you're curious to watching it. It's one of those movies where I was just like, okay, I want to see it, and I was like, okay, I don't want to see it. I give it 0 stars. It's not a good movie. It's not entertaining. It's nothing. If you want something like this, check out Cannibal Holocaust or Battle Royale, because that's awesome. Anyways, that's my review.